Hello everyone. Are you ready for day 5 of the 12 days of Christmas? So today we are playing with the Handmade Wishes bundle. So it's this stamp set. It's great. Let me show you in the catalog. Should have that ready. Because that you can use it for gift tags. Here it is. So if you're making handmade gifts, then you can do baked for you, handmade for you, so that you can make little tags that you, if you're like baking pumpkin bread or something like that for your friends. This is a great bundle for that. And it comes with a punch. The bundle does. Now, the stamp set is retiring. The punch is carrying over, so that's good. I love having lots of punches like this you can use for sentiments or any kind of just anything that you want to stamp. So this is the card we're making, and I got this. I pretty much copied this. I changed up slightly, but not very much, really. I think it was Polka Dot Crafts. I found it on Pinterest. So I copied that from her. But the thing I wanted to show you today that's an idea for a stamper, a gift for a stamper, is this Stampin Pierce Mat. So this is meant if you're doing paper piercing and you've got, you're just poking holes through because it's foam. But when you are stamping with photopolymer stamps like these, then they don't have the cushion on them that the rubber stamps do. And I realized that I don't have any of my stamps ready. So because they don't have that cushion, sometimes it's harder to get a good image. So if you have this underneath, it just is a big help. So while you're looking at this card, let me pull the stamps real quick because I'm trying to get a bunch of these done today ahead of time. So I made up a bunch and now I'm filming them. And of course I forgot to get all the stamps ready. The paper I'm using is the Santa's Express. I did not get that bundle. I'm just finding it. So it's this whole suite. I did not get that suite, but the paper, yeah, Santa Express 12 by 12 is so cute. And you could hand cut out some of it if you wanted, but the other side, just really good holiday paper. Now the cards and envelopes are already gone from this suite. All right, so Merry Christmas. Then we need our little holly branches. Whoops. So they've got one going either way, either direction. You'll see that as we stamp, and then the holly berries. And so whenever I'm making a card like this, I take the colors from the designer series paper. So this is Evening Evergreen, Poppy Parade, and Shaded Spruce. So those are colors that are in this designer series paper. Plus the mint macaron is what I used here as a mat. That's also in this paper. All right, so let's do our stamping first since we have all our stamps here ready and our ink. So I just have a piece of basic white, and when you're stamping something that you're going to punch, you want to pay attention. Now this one is symmetrical, so it's not as big a deal, but if you have one that's directional, you want to turn it over and see which way you want to stamp so that you can fit your punch in there correctly. But like I said, for this one, it doesn't really matter because it's symmetrical. So we will stamp our outside in Poppy Parade. So that just makes it easy to get a nice crisp image there. And then Evening Evergreen is what I used for the sentiment. So we'll do our Christmas first. I meant to re-ink this because I could tell there were a couple of light spots. So that's why I'm inking over it really well. Now I've got an ink here, so I have to be really careful but that will just fit right in the middle there. Whew, made it. And then Mary goes above that. Whew. I lucked out. I had extra ink around there, so it could have been ugly. All right, and I did the berries first because I wanted them in the center, and then it was easier to put the leaves around them. So just stamp your 3 little berries. And then I wanted a little bit different green for the holly leaves. That evening evergreen is very dark, and this shaded spruce is not quite as dark. So 1 holly leaf there, and 1 on the other side. And you can see they kind of are pointed that way. So, all right, that is all of our stamping. So we can get rid of our mat. Let's go ahead and punch this out. So you just turn over your punch, line that up. Trying to make sure I stay in the camera, but also I can see what I'm doing. Punch it out. There you go. Isn't that cute? All right. So now let's make the rest of our card. You could take, I'll just dump all those off, and line up your strips on here and try and keep them even. I find it easier if I have a piece of white that's the size I want, and then I can just line them up on that and glue them down, and that for me is easier. I will use my liquid glue on this one, my Tombow liquid glue. That goes at the very bottom. Because then I can adjust them a little bit if they're not completely straight. So you don't need a lot. Let's see how many of these I can do without dropping them. And so this will just line up. I'm just peering over the side so I can see. That's why it's nice to have that Tombow, because I could, and the first one, it's not hard, but that's the one you just want to be real careful with. And then after that, you just kind of butt them up against the one above it. So this will just go right up against that. Just make sure left to right. Yeah. And you could even cut these a little bit longer if you wanted to be safe, and then you could just trim them off at the end. Would not be hard to do at all. Actually, we're going to have to trim the one on the bottom. It says fa la la. This paper is so beautiful, and you can tell I'm not using anything that you could tell it came from the Santa paper. The other side you could tell, but these are just really nice Christmas. I think that one's my favorite with the trees and all the different trees. It's just really pretty. Good stripe. And we have polka dots. I'm just doing it in the same because then I don't have to think about it. And actually, I copied the order of these directly from the polka dot stamper that I found. I think I did pretty much. This is some presents. Yep, I thought for a minute I had it upside down, but nope, that's right. And then another red. I have glue all over my fingers from all the different things I've been doing today. And then I had all those, and I'm like, well, I have a little gap at the bottom. I don't like that. So I had another piece of that green, and I thought, well, that'll be fitting if I have it at the top and the bottom. So here at the very bottom. All right, we're done with that messy glue. It's great glue though, and especially if you're wanting to have time to adjust. I'm going to give that just a minute before I trim off that bottom. So for the card base, I just have a piece of thick basic white. If you are using white for a card base, you do want to use the thick and not just the regular white. The regular basic white just isn't sturdy enough to be a card base. All right, we can put the red on, Poppy Parade. We don't want to put our mint macaron on yet. Make sure I'm where you can see what I'm doing. So this is just going to go flat on our card base. And it has a small mat around it for the card. I like to, when I'm making cards, kind of vary the width of the mats. That's just something I like. It is totally up to you how you do it. So you can see on this, maybe you can see, there's just a little bit. And I'm going to use, these are not my good Stampin' Up! Scissors. I use these when I'm cutting anything that might have sticky on it, because I don't want to get sticky on my good Stampin' Up! Scissors. All right, now we can adhere this. Let's set our card base out of the way. To the back of our, we'll adhere this to our mint macaron piece. And we're going to do that before we put our ribbon on. So this will just center. It doesn't have a very big border. And then this is the white crinkle ribbon. This is one of my favorite ribbons. This time I just left it white, and it's so nice. It's very easy to tie, but it's also very easy to color. So you can just take your blends and lay it on a piece of scratch paper and just rub your blends across it. And it's thin enough that you just color one side and it just bleeds through both sides. So it's a very, very versatile ribbon. But today we're leaving it white, because I thought it would show up better on all this designer series paper if it was white. So just tying it in a knot. I'm doing it in the middle, and then we'll slide it all the way over to the left. And then trim our ends. Now we're ready to put this on our card base. And I put this on flat also. I always am moving my paper around. Isn't that cute? That paper is just so fun. And then this, I still got some glue on there. We will use dimensionals to put this on. So I did one at the top and one at the bottom because it will fit over the ribbon. Now this ribbon is really thin, so that's not a big deal. But if you have thicker ribbon, then you do want to sometimes make sure you have it where it will straddle the ribbon. And there you go. That's it. So quick and easy card. Again, when you're stamping with photopolymer, the Stampin' Pierce Mat is fabulous to have. All right. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for day 6. Bye.